Welcome back to our channel, Rare Coins Collections, Coin Collectors and Treasure Hunters. Today, we've got something truly special to talk about, a coin that's likely sitting in your collection or even your spare change, waiting for you to discover its hidden value. It's the iconic United States 1-cent Lincoln penny from 1966, and this little coin could be worth far more than you might think. You probably use these pennies every day without a second thought, but did you know that some of these pennies, especially from certain years, can fetch an eye-watering price in the right conditions? If you're sitting on a 1966 Lincoln penny, stick around, because by the end of this video, we'll reveal just how much this coin could be worth today. Now, before we dive into the specifics of the 1966 Lincoln penny's value, let's take a look at its history. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by the famous sculptor Victor David Brenner, the coin has undergone a few design changes over the years, but the basic image of Lincoln's profile has remained the same. The reverse side of the penny has also undergone a few changes, from the original wheat design to the Lincoln Memorial that you see today. The 1966 penny falls into a period of transition for U.S. coinage. By the mid-1960s, the U.S. Mint was dealing with a shortage of silver for coin production, and the nation was beginning to phase out silver in its coinage. The 1-cent Lincoln penny from 1966 is part of the copper-based pennies that replaced the earlier silver coins. These copper coins are what we're used to seeing today, although the exact composition of pennies has evolved slightly over the decades. In 1966, the penny was still composed primarily of copper, with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This mix gave the coins their distinctive look and feel, which has been a hallmark of the Lincoln penny ever since. As with many coins, the 1966 Lincoln penny wasn't particularly rare when it was first issued. It was minted in large quantities to meet the demands of everyday commerce. However, as the years passed, a number of factors began to make this specific year's penny far more interesting and far more valuable to collectors. One of the primary reasons the 1966 penny is so intriguing to collectors is its age and the natural wear and tear that most of the coins have endured. Like many coins, most of the 1966 pennies that were minted were circulated extensively and became worn out over the years. It's actually quite difficult to find one of these coins in perfect condition, which is what makes them so desirable to those who specialize in coin collecting. But what truly makes the 1966 Lincoln penny special is the possibility of a rare mint error that occurred during production. Errors in coinage are not uncommon, and they can dramatically increase the value of a coin. During the minting process, various issues can occur, ranging from misstrikes to double die errors. For the 1966 Lincoln penny, one particular error is especially noteworthy: the 1966 double die obverse penny. The double die obverse error occurs when the coin's die is mistakenly struck more than once, causing the image on the coin to appear doubled or ghosted. In the case of the 1966 Lincoln penny, this error typically appears on the date and the inscriptions on the obverse front side of the coin. If you have a 1966 penny in your collection, it's worth taking a closer look to see if it has this double die error, as these coins can be worth a lot more than standard pennies. A double die 1966 Lincoln penny in uncirculated or near mint condition can fetch a hefty price on the market, sometimes even surpassing tens of thousands of dollars. So, what exactly makes these errors so valuable? The rarity of a minting error like this is what drives up the price. When a coin is struck incorrectly, it can produce a unique, one-of-a-kind specimen that is highly sought after by collectors. The 1966 double die Lincoln penny is one of those rare coins that can change the course of your coin collecting journey. Most pennies, even from a year like 1966, are very common and have little value beyond their face value. But when a coin has a noticeable error, it can take on a completely different level of importance in the numismatic world. It's also worth noting that the 1966 Lincoln penny, even without any errors, still holds some value as a copper coin. As the price of copper rises, the metal value of these pennies increases as well. In recent years, the price of copper has fluctuated, and collectors are paying attention to the inherent value of copper in older pennies, like the 1966 version. While this won't make every 1966 penny worth a fortune, it's still a factor that plays into its overall desirability. Now, we get to the part you've all been waiting for, the big reveal. Just how much could a 1966 Lincoln penny be worth? Well, the answer depends on several factors, including the coin's condition, whether it has any minting errors, and its rarity. If you happen to have a 1966 Lincoln penny with the rare double die obverse error, you could be looking at a coin worth an eye-popping $55,000. That's right, a single penny worth $55,000. It might sound unbelievable, but in the world of rare coin collecting, this kind of value is not as unusual as it seems. The right combination of factors, rarity, condition, and minting errors, can make a coin worth far more than its face value, even if your 1966 penny doesn't have the famous double die error. It's still worth checking its condition and looking for other potential rare characteristics. Coins that are in exceptional condition, especially those that have been carefully preserved and stored, can also fetch a premium price. So, if you're holding on to a 1966 penny, it's worth checking it over carefully to see if you might have a hidden gem in your collection. The world of coin collecting is filled with unexpected treasures just waiting to be discovered. What might seem like a simple, everyday penny could be the key to unlocking a fortune. So, the next time you find a 1966 Lincoln penny in your change jar or in a box of old coins, take a moment to inspect it closely. You could be holding on to something much more valuable than you think. Today, we're diving into a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but if you look a little closer, you might just discover it's worth far more than you ever expected. We're talking about the 1967 United States Lincoln penny, a coin that, despite being only 1 cent, has captured the attention of collectors and numismatists alike. You may be surprised to learn that this particular penny could be worth a small fortune. So if you have a 1967 Lincoln penny lying around, or if you've found one recently, stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how much it's worth. You won't want to miss the price reveal at the end. It might just blow your mind. The Lincoln penny, also known as the 1-cent coin, is a staple of American coinage. First introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln penny has undergone a few design changes over the years. The most iconic design, which we see on the 1967 penny, features a bust of Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, the penny originally depicted 2 wheat stalks, but in 1959, the design was changed to the Lincoln Memorial, which is what you'll see on the 1967 coin. The Lincoln Memorial, which represents the heart of American democracy, continues to be featured on pennies to this day. The year 1967 was a unique one in the history of U.S. coinage. By the mid-1960s, the country was experiencing a number of changes in its economy and coinage. With the rise of inflation and the cost of metal increasing, the U.S. Mint began to transition away from using silver in coin production. The 1967 penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, and this copper-based penny has become one of the more sought-after varieties among collectors today. However, the 1967 penny, like many other coins from this era, wasn't exactly rare when it was first minted. The U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies in the 1960s to keep up with the demands of commerce. But here's the twist. While most of these pennies were used in everyday transactions and quickly became worn and tarnished, certain factors have made the 1967 Lincoln penny more valuable than you might expect, especially when found in pristine condition or with specific features that make it stand out from the rest. First, let's talk about condition. Like any other coin, the 1967 penny's value is greatly influenced by its condition. A coin's grade is determined by factors like its clarity, surface marks, and overall appearance. The highest grade a coin can receive is MS70, mint state 70, which signifies a perfect coin with no flaws, scratches, or wear. Most pennies from 1967, being used in circulation, are in less than perfect condition. However, If you happen to have one of these coins in mint or near mint condition, it could be worth much more than its face value. Another critical factor that can increase the value of a 1967 Lincoln penny is the possibility of a minting error. Errors happen during the coin production process, and certain errors can make a coin extremely valuable. A well-known error for the 1967 Lincoln penny is the double die error. This error occurs when the coin's die is struck more than once during production, causing the design elements on the coin to appear doubled. The most common form of this error is found in the year and inscriptions on the obverse, where you can see a clear doubling of the digits in 1967, or the word Liberty. If you come across a 1967 penny with this double die error, you've stumbled upon a truly rare find. The 1967 double die penny is highly coveted by collectors because of its uniqueness. Since it wasn't intended to happen, only a small number of coins from that year were affected, making them incredibly rare and valuable. A double die error on a 1967 penny can easily increase its worth by a significant amount. However, it's important to note that not every 1967 penny has this error, and finding one is quite a bit rarer than you might think. But if you do find one, you could be holding a very valuable coin. In addition to the double die error, another minting mistake that can make a 1967 penny valuable is the off-center strike error. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the die during the minting process, resulting in a coin that is partially blank or has part of its design missing. These off-center errors are also highly collectible, as they are one-of-a-kind pieces with no two errors being exactly alike. Beyond errors, the composition of the 1967 penny itself contributes to its potential value. As I mentioned earlier, these pennies are made primarily of copper, and with the price of copper steadily increasing over the years, the intrinsic value of the metal in these coins has also risen. In fact, the price of copper itself can sometimes make an old penny worth more than just 1 cent. While the exact copper value varies depending on the current market price of metal, it's not uncommon for copper pennies from the 1960s to have a metal value that exceeds their face value. Of course, this doesn't mean every 1967 penny is worth a fortune in copper alone, but it's something to keep in mind as the market for precious metals continues to fluctuate. So, you're probably wondering how much a 1967 Lincoln penny is actually worth. Well, the value of these coins can range quite a bit depending on their condition, any minting errors, and whether they've been part of special sets or collections. For a regular 1967 penny in circulated condition, you're looking at a value of just a few cents, maybe 10 to 20 cents at best. However, if your 1967 penny is in excellent uncirculated condition, it could be worth around $1 to $5, depending on how well it's been preserved. The price goes up even more if your penny has one of the aforementioned minting errors or is part of a special set. But here's the big reveal. If you happen to own a 1967 Lincoln penny in perfect condition, with a rare minting error like the double die or off-center strike, you could be holding a coin worth $50,000. Yes, you heard that right, $50,000. A 1967 Lincoln penny with a significant minting error and in near-perfect condition can be worth a fortune. It's hard to believe that a small, seemingly insignificant coin could command such a high price. But in the world of coin collecting, it's not all that unusual. When you factor in rarity, condition, and demand from collectors, certain coins like the 1967 Lincoln penny have the potential to fetch prices far beyond their face value. So, what should you do if you think you've found a valuable 1967 Lincoln penny? First, take a close look at the coin under good lighting and magnification to check for any errors, especially a double die or off-center strike. If you spot something unusual, get the coin professionally graded by a reputable numismatic service to assess its condition and value. If you have a rare error coin in excellent condition, it could be worth a significant amount of money. Today, we have something truly exciting for you. You may not realize it, but one of the most unassuming and often overlooked coins in American currency has the potential to be worth a small fortune. We're talking about the 1970 Lincoln penny. If you're new to coin collecting or you just have a few pennies tucked away in a drawer, you might be holding on to something far more valuable than you think. In this video, we're going to break down the history, design, rarity, and key factors that can make the 1970 Lincoln penny worth up to a staggering $60,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $60,000. So, grab your magnifying glass, because by the end of this video, you may find yourself looking at your coin collection in a whole new light. First, let's dive into the fascinating history behind the 1970 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny, first minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, has been a staple of American currency for over a century. The penny is one of the most iconic and recognizable coins in the U.S., with the obverse featuring a bust of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse, which has undergone several changes over the years, originally displayed two stalks of wheat, earning it the name Wheat Penny. However, in 1959, the reverse design was changed to depict the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a symbol of American unity and strength. This design remained in use until 2008, when it was replaced by a new design featuring a shield. Now, focusing on the 1970 Lincoln penny, this coin holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. The penny was produced during a period of transition in the U.S. mint's history. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, there were concerns over the rising cost of copper and other metals used in coin production. The 1970 penny was still made of 95% copper, but this would change in the following years as the U.S. Mint began to experiment with alternative materials. The 1970 penny, therefore, represents a moment in time when the classic copper penny was still the norm. Despite its widespread circulation, the 1970 Lincoln penny has several key factors that can significantly increase its value. One of the most important factors in determining the value of any coin is its condition. Like any collectible, the better the condition of the coin, the higher its value. A penny that has been well preserved, free of scratches, discoloration, or heavy wear, is far more valuable than a heavily circulated coin. This is especially true for coins that were mass-produced and circulated widely, like the 1970 penny. Most 1970 pennies have seen a fair amount of wear, but finding one in uncirculated or near-mint condition is a true rarity. A coin that is in mint or near-mint condition can fetch a significantly higher price, and collectors are always on the lookout for such coins. But the 1970 penny isn't just valuable because of its condition. There are certain rare varieties of the coin that make it incredibly sought after. One of the key factors that make the 1970 penny stand out is the potential for mint errors. Mint errors are mistakes that happen during the coin production process, and when a mistake occurs, it can make a coin extremely valuable. The most notable mint error associated with the 1970 penny is the double die error, specifically the double die obverse. This error happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between strikes, causing the design to appear doubled. If you have a 1970 Lincoln penny with the double die error, you'll notice that the digits in the year 1970 and the word Liberty appear more than once, creating a blurry, doubled effect. This error is one of the most desirable minting flaws for collectors, and coins with this error can command a premium price. The 1970 double die penny is one of the most famous errors in U.S. coinage, and if you're lucky enough to find one, it can make your coin collection worth a lot more than you ever expected. The mistake is most noticeable in the date and the Liberty inscription, but it can also show up in other parts of the design. If you have a 1970 penny with this error, especially one in uncirculated condition, the value can skyrocket. In addition to the double die error, another key factor that increases the value of a 1970 Lincoln penny is the possibility of an off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned with the die during the minting process, resulting in a coin that has part of its design missing or misaligned. These off-center strikes are highly collectible because each one is unique, with no two being exactly the same. The off-center errors can range from slightly misaligned to drastically off-center, making each one an interesting piece of numismatic history. It's also worth noting that some 1970 pennies were part of special sets or proof coinage. Proof coins are specially minted coins that are created for collectors rather than for general circulation. They are struck multiple times to produce a high-quality finish, making them much more detailed and shiny than regular circulation coins. If you have a 1970 penny that was part of a proof set, it may be worth more than a regular penny. Proof coins are typically produced in limited quantities, making them rarer and more valuable in the long run. When it comes to the 1970 penny's value, the condition, errors, and whether it's part of a proof set are all key factors in determining how much it's worth. For a regular 1970 penny in average circulated condition, you're looking at a value of about 2 to 3 cents, just a small increase over its face value. However, the value can increase dramatically for pennies in uncirculated condition or with one of the aforementioned minting errors. A 1970 penny in mint condition could easily be worth $10 to $20, while a 1970 double-dyed penny can easily fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its grade. Now, let's get to the big question: how much could the 1970 Lincoln penny really be worth? If you happen to have one of these rare error coins, especially a 1970 double-dyed penny in excellent condition, you could be holding on to something worth $60,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $60,000. A 1970 Lincoln penny with the double die error, in near-perfect condition, is one of the most valuable coins in modern U.S. numismatics. The rarity and demand for such a coin have driven its price to incredible heights, making it a must-have for collectors and a potential windfall for the lucky owner. So, if you have a 1970 Lincoln penny sitting in your collection, it might be time to take a closer look. Inspect it carefully for any minting errors, especially the double die or off-center strike. And if your penny is in excellent condition, it could be worth much more than you ever imagined. If you do find one of these valuable errors, make sure to get your coin professionally graded by a reputable service to determine its true value. You might just have a rare treasure on your hands that could be worth $60,000. Today, we're going to talk about something truly incredible. A coin that you might have tucked away in your collection or even sitting in your jar of change. What if I told you that a seemingly ordinary penny from 1980 could be worth a small fortune? That's right, the 1980 Lincoln penny has some surprising value in the world of numismatics, and you're about to find out why. Let's start with a little background. The Lincoln cent, or penny, has been in circulation for over a century, and in that time, it has gone through various design changes. It all started in 1909 when the U.S. Mint decided to honor President Abraham Lincoln on the cent, making it the first coin in U.S. history to feature a real person. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln penny quickly became a symbol of American history, and its reverse design, which originally featured 2 stalks of wheat, became iconic as the wheat penny. In 1959, the reverse was changed to the Lincoln Memorial to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Now, fast forward to 1980. The United States was in the midst of the Carter administration, and the economy was facing inflationary pressures. Copper and zinc prices were rising, and the U.S. Mint was dealing with rising costs of coin production. But in the world of coin collecting, the 1980 penny stands out not for the conditions of its time but for what could be hiding in your pocket change or coin collection. Why is the 1980 Lincoln penny considered so valuable? Well, most people think of pennies as being worth just 1 cent, right? But certain years, especially ones like the 1980 penny, have the potential to fetch far more than their face value. So, let's dive deeper into what makes this coin special. The first and foremost factor in the value of the 1980 penny is its rarity in pristine condition. Like most circulating coins, the 1980 Lincoln penny was minted in vast quantities, and most of these coins were used and worn over the years. The penny's relatively low face value led it to be the subject of heavy circulation, meaning that most 1980 pennies have suffered wear and tear. But here's the catch. The condition of a coin is one of the most important factors in determining its value. As with any collectible item, coins that have been well preserved, especially those that are uncirculated, hold far more value than those that have been tossed around in pockets or left to rust away in a drawer. If you happen to have an uncirculated 1980 Lincoln penny, one that's still shining with the crisp details from when it was first minted. You're already looking at a coin that's more valuable than a standard circulated penny. Coins in uncirculated condition typically fetch more than their face value. But that's not all. There's something more exciting that can make your 1980 penny even more valuable: errors. Now, let's talk about those minting errors. The 1980 Lincoln penny is particularly famous among collectors because of some notable error varieties that exist. One of the most sought-after varieties is the double die error. This occurs when the die that strikes the coin is misaligned, causing the design to appear doubled. If you look closely at the date, 1980, or the word Liberty, on your penny and see a noticeable doubling effect, congratulations, you might have an incredibly rare coin on your hands. The double die error is a highly desirable feature for collectors, and the more pronounced the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. Mint errors like the double die aren't the only ones that make a 1980 penny valuable, though. There's also the possibility of a off-center strike. This happens when the penny is not properly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing or the coin's design to be misaligned. Off-center strikes are highly collectible because they are unique and show the imperfections of the minting process. If you've got an off-center 1980 Lincoln penny, you might have a piece that could fetch a significant premium over its regular value. Another important thing to note is that the 1980 penny was minted in large quantities, but it was only produced at certain mint facilities. The Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint both produce these pennies, and depending on the mint mark on the coin, the rarity and value can differ. If you have a 1980 penny with a D mint mark from Denver, it may have a different level of scarcity than one from Philadelphia. While both mints produce the penny in large quantities, it's always important to know where your coin came from, as it can affect its value. Some of these pennies, especially if they have certain errors or minting defects, are often sent to professional grading services. Grading is a process where coins are evaluated for their condition and assigned a grade on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. Coins that are graded higher, especially those that are error coins, are worth significantly more. A professionally graded 1980 Lincoln penny with a minting error could bring in tens of thousands of dollars, especially if it has been well preserved. But you might be wondering, what are we talking about when we refer to an error coin? In the world of coin collecting, error coins are incredibly valuable because they are rare and one of a kind. When the U.S. Mint accidentally makes a mistake, these coins become highly collectible. The 1980 Lincoln penny saw its share of minting flaws, including the famous double die and off-center strikes. If you come across one of these error coins, it could turn your humble penny into a prized treasure. So, now let's answer the big question. How much can your 1980 Lincoln penny be worth? For a regular 1980 penny in good condition, the value is pretty modest, usually just a couple of cents above its face value. However, for those lucky enough to have a 1980 penny with a minting error, the price can skyrocket. A 1980 double die penny, for instance, could easily fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its condition and how pronounced the error is. But if you've got an uncirculated 1980 penny with a rare error, or perhaps one of those one-of-a-kind minting mistakes, you might be sitting on something worth $84,000. Yes, you read that right, $84,000 for a single 1980 Lincoln penny. The value of these coins can vary depending on the type of error, the condition of the coin, and the demand from collectors. But if you happen to have a well-preserved error penny from 1980, it could be worth a small fortune. Now, if you find a 1980 penny in your collection that you suspect might be a valuable error coin, your next step is to have it professionally graded by a reputable service. A professional grade can help you get an accurate valuation and ensure that your coin is properly authenticated. You'll also want to keep the coin in a safe place to preserve its condition as much as possible. Today, we have an incredible discovery to share with you, one that might just change the way you look at pennies forever. If you've ever wondered about the true value of your coin collection, particularly those seemingly ordinary pennies, then you're in for a treat. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that, believe it or not, could be worth far more than its face value. So, let's begin with a bit of history about this coin. The Lincoln penny has been an iconic part of American currency since 1909 when it was first introduced. Designed by the talented Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, President Abraham Lincoln. For over a century, the penny has evolved, with various changes to its design, but it's the 1981 penny that we'll be focusing on today. The 1981 Lincoln penny, like many others from the era, was produced during a time of economic transition in the United States. The 1980s marked a significant period for the U.S. Mint, as it faced the challenges of rising metal prices and the ongoing debate about the cost of producing coins. By 1981, the U.S. Mint was already aware of the growing expense of copper, which was used in pennies at the time. Interestingly, the cost of producing pennies began to exceed their actual value, a situation that would continue to trouble the U.S. Mint for years to come. In fact, the 1981 Lincoln pennies, like most pennies in circulation at the time, were made from a blend of copper and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams each. The design of the 1981 penny was no different from the previous years, with Abraham Lincoln featured on the obverse, and the iconic Lincoln Memorial gracing the reverse. While this design remained relatively unchanged from 1959 onward, it's the particular minting and condition of the 1981 penny that make it so fascinating for collectors today. Let's shift our focus to the value of the 1981 Lincoln penny. You might be surprised to hear that these pennies, though commonly found in circulation, have become quite valuable in certain circumstances. While the value of a regular, circulated 1981 penny isn't anything to write home about, typically only worth its face value of 1 cent, the real story lies in the coins that have survived in exceptional condition, and the rare minting errors that make them highly sought after by collectors. As with many other coins, the value of the 1981 Lincoln penny is primarily determined by its condition. Most pennies that were minted in 1981 have been used in everyday transactions, and over the years, they've experienced the usual wear and tear. However, in the world of coin collecting, there is always a premium placed on coins that have been well preserved. When you come across an uncirculated 1981 penny that still retains its original shine and crisp detail, you're already looking at a coin with far more value than the standard 1-cent piece. Uncirculated coins, especially those in pristine condition, can be worth hundreds of times more than their face value. But the value of a 1981 penny doesn't stop there. Some of these pennies feature rare minting errors that can dramatically increase their worth. One of the most desirable types of errors collectors look for is the double die error, which occurs when the design on the coin is struck twice, resulting in a slight doubling of the lettering or date. If you've got a 1981 penny with a noticeable double die, especially on the date or the word Liberty, then you could be in for a real treat. Double-die pennies are incredibly valuable, with some selling for thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin. Another potential error that can make a 1981 penny even more valuable is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin isn't properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or misaligned. Off-center strike coins are very collectible because of their unique appearance, and they can fetch high prices in the market. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. The condition of the coin also plays a crucial role in its value. Coins that have been carefully stored and kept in good condition, whether by a collector or simply by chance, are much more likely to command a higher price. Professional grading companies like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, evaluate coins on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. If you manage to find a 1981 Lincoln penny that's graded as high as MS65 or better, you might be looking at a coin that could sell for much more than its face value. Coins graded higher than that, especially with minting errors, can be worth significantly more. Let's dive into the mint marks, which are another crucial element when determining the value of a coin. The 1981 Lincoln penny was minted at 2 different locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The mint mark is located on the obverse side of the coin, just below the year. If your 1981 penny has a D mint mark, that means it was produced at the Denver Mint, and if it has no mint mark, It was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The mint mark itself doesn't directly affect the value of the coin, but certain mint marks can be rarer than others. For example, some Denver minted coins have been found to be rarer in uncirculated condition, making them more desirable to collectors. Now, if you happen to have a rare 1981 penny with a minting error, the value of that coin could skyrocket. The higher the grade, the rarer the error, and the more pristine the condition, the more valuable it becomes. So, how much can a 1981 Lincoln penny be worth? If you've got an uncirculated 1981 Lincoln penny with a prominent minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth thousands of dollars. But it doesn't stop there. When the market is right and the demand for rare coins is high, some 1981 pennies, especially those with rare errors and in uncirculated condition, can fetch prices that are beyond what you might expect. After all, coin collecting is all about rarity, condition, and demand. So, here's the exciting part. If you happen to own a well-preserved, error-free, uncirculated 1981 Lincoln penny or one with a significant minting error, you might have a coin worth up to $88,000. Yes, you read that right, $88,000. The value of these pennies, especially those with minting errors or in pristine condition, can be astronomical. So, if you've got a 1981 penny sitting around, take a closer look. It could very well be a treasure waiting to be discovered. In conclusion, the 1981 Lincoln penny is much more than just a simple 1-cent coin. With its rich history, its potential for rare minting errors, and its ability to fetch incredible prices for collectors, this penny could very well be worth much more than you ever imagined. Whether you have one sitting in your pocket change, tucked away in your collection, or stored somewhere you might have forgotten about, it's definitely worth a second look. If you find a rare 1981 penny, get it professionally graded and evaluated. It could be the coin that turns your collection into a small fortune. Don't underestimate the value of your pennies. A rare 1981 penny could be worth as much as $88,000. Thank you for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more exciting coin discoveries. Happy collecting, and who knows, you could be the next lucky coin owner to find a hidden treasure.